Okay, good afternoon, folks. Sorry I'm a bit late. I was just taking a trade on the CL. There was a triple test. Okay, let me just, I'm a little bit behind here. Let me just sort this out. So 77. Excuse me just a sec. What have I got up there? Let's change that one to 56. Good for 56. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Let me just check everything's working fine.
Order submitted.
Up here. Beautiful.
Order
Okay.
cancelled.
Sorry about that. Okay, so hope everyone is well. I had a little problem yesterday evening, which I want to talk to you about. So just quickly, if nobody saw that, I was looking at the CL and I took that triple test. We got a channel up there with a break and a small high. We had a couple of legs down, went a bit sideways, and then we had this channel down with a couple of legs up, once, twice, and a triple test. So that was a nice setup, I think. Clear triple test bouncing off here, and it clearly worked. The trouble is, I'm getting out of some of these trades early because the ES is always, I don't know about you guys, but I almost feel like I don't trust it anymore. I've lost trust in it. I don't know why that is or what, but I want to show you something that happened. Is anybody in, first of all? Just so I know there's a few people listening. I'll talk about it in a bit anyway. It was just a trade I took yesterday on one of my accounts, and I made a big mistake. Akitri, how you doing? Ionis, how you doing? H, how you doing? Okay. So, Chris, how you doing? Okay. Did anybody look at this yesterday? This channel here, okay? So, I took this trade here. I took a trade here and I made a big balls up. So, I don't know what people think about that channel, but I think it looks nice. We got a touch at the top, touch there. It just fits lovely to me. We had a small... Now, at second glance, I can see maybe what went wrong, but we had a little channel there with a break and a new high. We pushed down below the EMA, bullish bar, which trapped, bearish bar. Now, I jumped in, so I flicked over to my ATM strategy and clicked one contract on one account, and I went short, and the second the trade opened, I realised I hadn't hit one contract, I hit 10. So I panicked and didn't know what to do. So I liked the setup. I like this. I like the setup. I thought the channel was beautiful. And it started. I thought I'll just hold it. And it went down a bit and came back. And when it bounced in, came down a bit. I thought great. And then it started to turn. And you know when you panic and you're not sure what to do. So I moved my stop just to the top here because I thought, it's such a great channel, it's going to go short. We may have a couple of legs up and down, and I moved it. To cut long story short, I moved it, just panicking. I didn't know what the hell to do. And the account went. I couldn't believe it. Because I liked the setup, I thought, I'll hold on here. If I can get a couple of points out of this, $1,000, great. And it was one of my accounts that had quite a bit of money in. So I couldn't believe, I was in shock. So anyway, I was chatting to a trader. This is the third time I've done this. Yeah, I've done this 3 times. I did it about 6 months ago with a trade that was $100 off payment. So I went down to one contract and I opened 10. It's so annoying. In this ATM strategy, I have 10 and then I have 1C. So they look similar. So I was chatting to a trader last night and he said he can't tell you how many times he's done it. So what he advised me to do, and I did, is go into my ATM strategy and delete everything. Now, I had about 30 in there. I had about 3 or 4 10s with different stops, and I had 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s. I had a 27 in there, 15. They were right the way down to the bottom here. And he said if you delete them all, you can't accidentally click the wrong one. And I'm amazed I haven't thought, why haven't I done it before? It's so bloody... It's so simple and so obvious. But when it opened and it started moving, I froze. I didn't know what to do. But I liked the trade that much. You know, when you just think it's only one account, so it's not the end of the world. I could get $1,000 out of this for a 2-point move. And I thought that would send my one account. And I was shocked. And when it came down, I thought, I started to sigh of relief when it came down. And then it turned quickly. So I didn't know what to do. So I moved my stop to here because I thought it's a leg. It's probably going to have another leg and come down because it's such a nice channel. And I can't believe it. It went and went and went and went and it got me. So I felt in shock because I haven't moved my stop for months. But because I made a stupid mistake, now this lad Chris I was talking to said, "What? Just go in and delete everything." So when I opened that up, I'd never really paid much attention to it, but I had a list of them going right away down here. So I've deleted everything now, and the only one I've got in there now is 2 contracts with 10 ticks, so I can't accidentally. And in all fairness, that's all I ever trade, so I don't really need to have anything else. But I don't know what anybody else thinks of this. There was a little bit of, we'll get to trade in a sec. There was a little bit of chatter on Facebook. Now, I actually think that channel's nice. We've got a touch here. Perfect. And it just fits lovely. A perfect touch there. And then we had a little chan up with a break. Now, what I will say is that looks like a leg. And this doesn't really. The more I look at it, the more I think, I'm not sure about this now. But at the time, because we don't see setups, I jumped all over it that quick. Which is why I made that mistake. But if we look at there was a few people that marked this. You know, this was one guy. He'd marked this. Now, I don't know what Mac's doing by putting that channel like that. I really don't. It's not touching there. It's in the mix. It's cutting a few off there. It doesn't make any sense, that. But his channel, look how perfect that channel fits. Perfect there. Let's have a look. Perfect. It just looks beautiful. Channel break, new high, then a bearish drop and another bearish drop. And I thought we're going to trap some longs there, and it came down. And when it came back a bit, I didn't know what to do. And then it started to come down, and I had a sigh of relief. And all of a sudden, it turned and started going up. But I don't know. It's almost Max looked at the channel and then closed his eyes and put a thing around it. It just doesn't. I can't see how Mac worked that. And I know I'm having a bit of a rant at Mackie. I don't mean it personally towards Mac, but it just, that the channel just doesn't mean anything. It's almost like you've knocked it up in a second. But I don't know. The more I look at it here, it looks like a leg. You may have it. It's just one of those ones that sometimes they just don't work. Just sometimes they don't for whatever reason. But I don't understand why Mac. I thought it was such a lovely channel. And it pushed straight up. It crossed over, pushed up straight away, bearish bar, then another bearish bar. So I thought this is a beaut. He might have reloaded. Yeah, he may have done as the channel from first touch. But it just... And I just thought, you know, my understanding of price... I've been trading price action for 3 years. And price action to me is almost perfect. There's always a reason, and 99 times out of 100 now I can work out why something didn't work. But that one threw me a bit, and I think there was a few traders that took that. And it just happened that one time I made a bloody cock up on what I thought was a lovely setup. And, you know, when you just panic and I didn't know what to do, I did exactly the same thing 6 months ago. We were coming towards the end of the day, and I only needed $100, so I thought, I'm not going to go 2 contracts. So I quickly flicked over. I clicked the 1, what I thought was a 1. It was a 1 and a 0, because I usually have a 1 and a C. And as soon as I opened it, it dropped quickly, and I was about $800 behind. And I remember saying, oh no, oh God. And my wife came running in, what's the matter? I went, I've made some stupid mistake. And I had to hold it, because it was coming to the end of the day, and the market almost froze. You know, when it just seizes up late in the afternoon. And I didn't know what to do, and I ended up, it kicked me off in the end for about $1,000 down, but I was livid with myself. And this is the 3rd time I've done it now. It's so annoying. It was on one of my nicer channels as well, so I was just so gutted. So if you've made that mistake, it's a simple procedure. Why I hadn't thought about it before? There's a trader I chat to now and again called Chris. He lives in London somewhere, North London, but he went, just delete everything. That way you can't accidentally. And when I opened it, I had a bloody great list of them down there. But the only thing in there now is if for some reason I ever traded under evaluation, I can do a custom one and set it in that. But I can't accidentally hit something there. So it should stop that mistake. But I can't believe I've been stupid enough to do it for a third time. It's not the end of the world. I kind of had a laugh about it later. But, you know, I was a bit pissed off with Mac. Not at Mac, you know, because I'd made a mistake and I was frustrating myself. And then when Mac didn't do the thing, I was like, oh, bloody hell, I wish he'd... So I had a bit of a rant, so I thought I'd say something, but it's not his fault. It's my fault for making a stupid mistake. I should know better, really. Let's have a look. He may have... Yeah, he might have done. Channels don't always... No, they don't. They don't. Do you see what I mean when I say I just don't trust the ES anymore? For some reason, the ES is just not performing. I don't know why. When I look at this, I mean, what can you guys see there? Channel with a break, a couple of legs up, try to go once, try to go twice, triggered above that bullish bar, came down. What does that look like? It looks like a clear triple test, and then look at it. I wasn't sure at the time whether that was, because it looked to me like there may be an overshoot, but I'm thinking it's more sideways that. And it's a clear, if there's ever a triple test, that's one. Once clearly, second time clearly, third time triggers above that. Nice bearish bar. Now I put my order in, I put a market order, which I don't often use, one tick below those 3 bars. They put me off a bit, but I thought if it breaks below there, there may be some longs going there. I always like to take, it's almost like taking a trade at the top of a range. It's always nice to trap a bull bar, because then if there is any traders in there, at least when it breaks below there, it'll hit their stops, which creates a little bit more downward momentum. So, but I couldn't believe, and I did it on the one bloody account. I got 2 accounts. I won at $2,000 odd, one at $1,600. I wouldn't have minded so much if it would have been on one of the ones at 0. You know, I know I've got 19 and 19 and 20. There's no real differences. I didn't even know whether I even bothered to get another one, but I can't believe I've done it 3 times now. I could have kicked myself. But I use the ATM because they are set up for each product. Yeah, so I don't want to delete it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, on the CL, I trade 2 contracts, 10 ticks. I can always adjust my ticks, can't I? You know, if I go for a 1.5. And same here as well, 2 contracts, 10 ticks. The only other times I've gone through them is when I've traded evaluations 10, but I had about 4 different 10 contracts in there, and you know, when you set them up, you never get rid of them. But if I was trading multiple different things with different ones, you know, that's a case. But I've done exactly the same thing now 3 times. 2, it's cost me once. I can't remember what happened the first time, but well, I'm not sure. I hide the trend lines and look at the chart. It looks like one channel down. That's an interesting point, that, Jay. Yeah. Just don't, yeah, sometimes instead of looking at the lines, because there are a lot of traders. I mean, if you look at people like Nutty and Alpine, they don't really use these channels, do they? So sometimes I was looking for a trade here as well. We kind of had a steeper leg, then a less steeper leg, then 2 attempts. I am looking at more at Penguin type setups because they're a slightly bigger move, and I like the way what Penguin will do is if he has a channel down and he has 2 attempts to go high, he'll wait for it to start to move down. So sometimes if we were taking a short there, it may trigger us, come back a little bit, stop us out, and then come down. So what he does is waits for it to push, usually below the EMA, and then catches it on the way up. But I am looking at a lot of his stuff. Click the eyeball looking symbol at the top, and it hides the trend chance. Oh, that, yeah. Yeah, it's a good point, that. Sometimes it is just worth a look. But I will show you quickly. I'm looking more and more at this. Now, when I started doing a little bit with Penguin, there was a guy called Benji, and he won't mind me showing you this. He'd done something. Hold on a minute. I just messed something up there. Hold on 1 second. Okay, it's all right. I'll shut down. What's it? Let me just check you're all back. Yeah. He'd done this, and I like this. He explained it a little bit more. So, for instance, some of these charts. So we've got a channel down, which you can see. 2 clear attempts to go higher, and he waits for it to push down below that EMA, indicating we're going lower, and he catches the order there on a little pullback. His stop goes up there, and his profit goes down there. Quite a clear 2 pushes there, and there's a lot of those. Channel down, 1, 2 pushes. Same again, waits for it to push strongly through the EMA. That's indicating we get a small pullback and it'll go down again. Same again there, channel down, 2 clear attempts to push up. Waits for it to push below that EMA, takes it, puts his stop here. Now, obviously, you're going for more. You need to reduce your contract size, but same again. 2 legs up. He didn't take it the first time, but then the second time. But this looks quite clear to me. Channel down, 2 attempts higher, then a push below. It's very similar to Max. It's almost a second entry short. But same again, channel up, 1, 2. So you imagine that if there was half the amount of candles, it would look like a second entry long, wouldn't it? But 2 clear attempts to go. Same again, push up, 2 clear attempts. But he waits for it to push above that EMA, indicating that we're actually moving into sort of bullish territory. Same again, there and there. Waits for it to push above the EMA, catches it, puts your stop here. But I know the Penguin guy doesn't talk about it very clearly, but this guy, Benji, it's a little bit more. He's done sort of lots of different pictures and diagrams at it, but it's almost like a second entry. Same again, 2 attempts to go lower, push above the EMA, and he catches it there and up it goes. But same again too. But I don't know, just Mac's strategy at the moment is just not producing much. It's producing on the CL, so that's given me a little bit of hope. But it is frustrating that I've been doing this for 3 years, and I've finally built some accounts, and I've finally built up some tolerance to the psychological side, and all of a sudden the 85% of the trades have just disappeared. So it's kind of where I've been working to be for such a long time, and all of a sudden we're never getting no bloody setups. When I do decide to take one, I make a bloody mistake on it and end up losing an account. Just the time when I'd first hit my 20. That's just dumb luck, that is. Anyways, you just got to live and learn, and I've just decided now just to get rid of everything. On this chart, on the CL, all I trade is 2 contracts and 10 ticks. Sometimes I'll adjust the ticks. Benji has spent a ton of time learning ICT, which is combining with Penguin stuff. Has it really? Interesting. There's definitely something in that. Same here, channel down. 1 attempt to go higher, second attempt, and then a big strong move down. I've been taking non-Pat's trade, but based on Pat's principles. Looking where I know price is more likely to move. Yeah. Just move my stop loss to break even quickly and let it run. Yeah, I suppose if you make... I mean, there is a slight issue with the trailing drawdown, but if you can get your PE account over $2,600, it doesn't matter whether the market moves 20 points and comes back. But yeah, the good thing about putting it to break even, you've got a risk-free trade, and if you get a bit of luck or it happens to push a bit further, you know, you can double or triple your normal sort of pot size. Takes me out break it. No, it's no big deal, is it? A lot of traders do that. They put it at break even, and it takes away any risk. But Pat's setups have just disappeared. And when we do get one, what I thought looked okay, I get stitched. So I felt so hard done by it last night, I've got to say. But what can you do? You got to move on. But I'm just so glad I wasn't trading 10 accounts, because I'd have thrown myself out of a bloody window losing 10. But I know now Marco's trading the CL. I think there's a bunch of people, probably some of you guys as well. Sam trades it, Marco trades it, Vlad or Vladdy, whatever his name is, he trades it. And there's probably some others now catching on because we're all noticing a lack of setups. But what I will say is the setups now are getting a little bit tricky and require a bit more experience. I think the one in the range here that Mac marked, that one there, that was one of the ones he marked. Marco marked it, but it still looks like a risky setup because it's very choppy. So, you know, we had a couple of pushes up. There's a bullish bar there and it ticked above, but it's still very choppy. And you just don't know. We've had a leg up sideways. We could get another leg up. So that one is a bit risky, I think, because it is still choppy. But the trouble is, if Max sees it and it works out, he puts a red tick there, a red arrow, which doesn't necessarily mean, you know, I get it if he puts some wrong ones in sometimes, but Marco's trading the CL now. He took a trade. He's on what's forum? What's his name? Thomas Wade's forum. Discord. But you got to pay $35 a month for it. Which I don't suppose is terrible, but he doesn't trade live or anything. It's just a chit chat. But apparently, someone here mentioned it. I can't remember who it was now, but it makes sense. I mean, look, we've had nothing on the but I mean, look at that. It's a for me, that's a textbook triple test. And not only that, we had a big bullish bar there and another bullish bar which ticked one high. So for me, that was a nice trade. That and look at that, didn't it go clear? 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher, followed by a failure, push below the EMA, trap the long. But this is producing some. The last couple of days since we rolled over to the 7th month, it hasn't looked as clean. But I've only been looking at it for a week or two, so I think it's a bit premature for me to say it's not brilliant. But I think it's much better. Looking at buying at support of a newly formed small uptrend after the downtrend has played out, or selling at resistance of a newly formed risk 1 point, target 3 point. Yeah, I think really, and I had a message from Mac about this when I emailed him once. He said it's natural as a trader to find your own way of doing things, and I mentioned many times on here. After a while, you start to notice things, and these strategies didn't come down on tablets in the Ark. They've come from traders sitting and looking at markets. And there's new styles, come out every day. But it's a matter of sitting and looking at things. And when you notice certain patterns and the way things move, you naturally find your own way. Some people will risk 1, go for 2. Some people will risk 2, go for 1. There's so many different ways and different tolerances, that we've all got. But what I will say is if it works for you, you do it. But yeah, I've mulled over many different ways of going for a bit more profit. My goal is to try and get a bit more, because sometimes you see these things on the CL, you don't know it's going to do that, but usually after a leg and something like that, I think a lot of times there is a chance that we could get something like that. And I got out down here, you can potentially, even if you follow it to the swing, and then maybe squeeze a lot of this when you're coming down to support. I mean, if you can catch a move like that, you could do all right. But I think it's definitely worth expanding your knowledge, especially at the moment when, if all you've ever learned is PATs, which more or less I have, it is a bit frustrating that I've only taken 2 trades in the last 2 weeks, and one of them was a loss. With Thomas Wade's 35 Discord, you get 60 plus hours. Yeah, the thing is, Chris, I think most of us, I think Jay, you, Brandt, I think most of us have been doing this 3 years and know enough about PATs. So, but yeah, I mean, I get it. I might do it and pay for it, actually. But the trouble is, I've been in a couple of Discords before, and when you're streaming, I'm reading your guys' comments, chatting, and watching my own chart, and it's sometimes having the time to look at these forums. Now, if he was trading live, I certainly would, because Thomas Wade is one of the traders that I've watched since I started, and I respect him as a knowledgeable and good trader. So anybody who's good at something is on my radar, and I think you've got to pay attention to him. So, I mean, if it was free, I probably would. But as I say, I've been in a couple of forums, and I haven't got it up now because it's having the time sometimes when you're focused on your chart, and I'm reading your comments as well, and now I'm focusing on the CL above. It is having the time, really, but it's probably easy for you guys because, if you're not streaming, you've just got your own context pattern. Yeah, you don't need... Yeah, I don't think I need... Look, I know enough about PATs to know how it works. Now, yes, my PAT skills will improve year after year, and my opinion of this is you can tell someone the setups and you can guide them, but ultimately they have to learn it themselves by getting the experience. So I don't necessarily think me buying something from Thomas Wade would massively improve my trading, because I've got enough experience now to know how it works, and to know the markets work. But it's that experience over time that no one can really give you, bar time on the charts. But just for the fact that people like Marco, I've always respected Marco. He's only ever been nice, friendly, polite, and supportive of me. So he's a good guy. So I just do it maybe just to see what he's trading. It's always nice to see other people doing the same thing, especially with this CL, because if it's a little bit more tried and tested with PATs, not that it shouldn't work, but when you've only ever traded one chart, you tend to get that safe feeling. Although this, to me, this chart, it's almost, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, it's almost lost its trustworthiness, if you know what I mean. I've taken 2 trades already, not PATs, up to $350 on 5 accounts, 2 contracts. Yeah, I think you have to find your own way after a while, don't you? You kind of learn what Mac teaches you, and then you develop your own style. I think the thing is with me, I've always been a bit of an all or nothing, and if I take something that I think this feels better to me and I make a mistake, I don't know how I'll react to it. But yeah, it's a tough one really, isn't it? And a lot of it comes down to self-belief and confidence. And because I've spent such a lot of time throwing money at this, for me, it seems like the more money I throw at it, the quicker I'll get there, when it's not the case. So I probably haven't helped myself really with my confidence. Now, I set a lot of my charts out, and sometimes I ask, is this right? I'm not sure. But then when I look at Max or I look at Thomas's, it all works out the same. So I'm thinking, well, you're doing exactly the same as those two, so have a little bit of confidence in yourself. But yeah, they are. So I just don't trust second entries. I rarely take them now. I much prefer the lower highs, because if you don't get caught out, you give the second entry chance to trap you, and if it doesn't, you get a lower high. Then for me, that's a safer place. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, pal? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? There's so much to do with trading. It's the longer you seem to be doing it, the realise how complex the bloody thing is. But one thing I am pleased about now is, apart from that stupid mistake, and let's face it, the calmest people, if all of a sudden they realise they've just risked about 90% on a trade, I think the calmest is going to panic. But hopefully I've ruled out that I'm not making a mistake. So if anybody has done that, like I've done it 3 times, delete everything in there so you can't accidentally. And if you do need another one for something else, then open it up. But I had so many, it's not the first time I've I have clicked the wrong one a few times and noticed it and changed it, but 3 times now. Twice I ended up losing accounts, and once I can't remember what, but that will stop me from making a mistake. But yeah, second. I'm finding some of the setups now are a lot more tricky to spot. They're not as obvious. For instance, that one yesterday, which I still think is risky. You may call it a triple test. I don't think it's a triple test. We've had about 5 or 6 tests up there. And yeah, generally you short the tops, don't you? But, I mean, it is a second entry short, but 1, it's congested here. 2, it's congested right the way over there. 3, we've bounced here, so you don't know whether we're going to have a little bit of a push-up sideways followed by another push-up. So the trouble is, if I look at stuff like that, I really are unsure whether it'll work. I think the reason that one did is because it trapped the higher low, but it's still a risky to take. Because, yeah, we've got the top of something, but it's just so choppy. But that's what I mean. If there's second entries now, they're almost for quite advanced traders, maybe. But I didn't spot that for some reason. I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, it is hard when it's doing this. It's hard. And I think now I'm trading more accounts. I think you have to be a little bit more careful. You know, so if you're trading 1 account, if you're trading 10 accounts, you can do a lot more damage if you're a little bit rash and you're thinking futures market is officially dead. I mean, from what I hear, volatility is a big thing. Depends what's going on in the world, obviously, with COVID. So we had a break. There is a lower high there, which almost is trapping those that long. Are we going to come down and retest this? I'm not sure. So we've got a channel with a break in a new high. I'm just sitting on that. Oh, there's a failure actually on the CL, which I didn't notice. Let's have a look. Leg break, 2 legs up. Maybe not just yet. Focus on learning to trade ranges. Yeah. I'll never die. Yeah. The ranges are so much bigger part of our day. I mean, ranges are okay when they're larger. When they're sort of, 5 points is a bit tougher. But I used to avoid them, but I am paying more attention to them. But the trouble is that range like that is there's not much from the top to the bottom, really. From that line there to sort of the bottoms, it's not much. So that trade for me, although I get why it might have worked, trapping the higher low, it's still very risky, I think. Trouble is, if that wouldn't have worked, Matt wouldn't have put the arrow. But it did work, so he put it as a high probability trade, and sometimes that can cloud your thinking a little bit. So yeah, I'm not sure about this. Are we pushing up again? I don't know really. It's uncomfortable because you get it when it looks like it's breaking the range. Trusting that it's going. Yeah, there is a lot of trust and I think self-belief. I think self-belief comes in with time. If you've been doing this 10 years, every single day, you're going to have a lot more confidence and belief because if you're still around in 10 years, chances are you're earning money. There is a second entry long there, which I don't think is a terrible trade. My only slight concern is we've had a channel with a break and a new high. But that one works, certainly for a couple of points. But when it's like this, you're not quite sure what it's going to do. So you may not have got 2 points out of it. Let's have a look. You may have done. Oh, it's a push, but look at it now. It's turning back. So taking a trade here for me is a bit risky, especially as we've already had a break at a new high. Because we could make one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and it could fail. So it worked for a scalp, but you wouldn't have got 2 points. And look at that now. Look, surely it's going to take that out. This market has got a habit of cleaning up every tiny little bit of trade that may liquidity that's on here. There's going to be some below there, and it does. It just seems to push up, taking out these areas. Your channel's different. Oh, actually, I haven't reloaded my historic. But for me, the better performer at the moment is the CL. So I am focusing on that a little bit. Just for a while. I'm just trading it on one account at the moment, and if I start to feel like it's worth it, I may ditch this for a time, but I don't know. I may even bring this CL down here and put the ES up there out of the way. We'll see. But at the end of the day, the goal is to find trades and make money. And if there's no trades or very few, you've got to look outside the box, haven't you? Let's have a look. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. So we've got the steep channel and then something a little bit less steep, then a couple of legs up and then a few pushes down. A little bit of bottom in here. So whether this is a channel, the only reason I've drawn it is because we've got a touch perfect there, a few times there and possibly there. So maybe a leg and a leg. I'm not massively convinced that's right, so I'm not getting involved in a trade at the moment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leg and a leg. That bar is an inside bar, so, but it does kind of fit pretty okay, doesn't it? It's pretty good there, and there, and there, and then from here to here. And after these various different legs down, it does tend to go 1, 2, 3, doesn't it? And starts to work up. Yeah, this looks like a bull flag to me. It's pushed up on the NQ, it's pushed up and it's slanting down, sucking in shorts, and that for me is more likely to go up. So there'll be some short stops there, some short stops there, and that thing may just push up. A lot of the times, what I used to do is get involved in these shorts thinking we're coming down, and all of a sudden the thing turns. So whenever I see this push up by a slow work down, it tends to go up there and take out these stops. And it looks like that's exactly what it's doing. So if you'd have taken that and then maybe that, you may get stung here, but you may have got your points already. So just have to have a look, keep an eye on that. Possible triple test. I'm just not sure at the moment. I was siding with it going up, but at the moment, is it losing a bit of momentum? Not sure at the moment. Let's see, maybe we can have a look. So we got this steep channel and then something a little bit less steep with a couple of attempts, 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher, followed by a nice. See those triple tests. I didn't like the signal bar at the time. It kind of was 3 pushes up, but for me it was just a bit, could have been nicer. I mean, compared to the CL one, it was a world apart, but obviously 3 attempts and then it did work. So sometimes these can be really lucrative if they look nice enough. They often have a good strong push down. That CL did. I mean, that was a lot nicer. Channel down with a break, couple of legs up, and 2 more attempts, followed by a bearish bar, right where you want to see it, trapping some longs, and look at that. Nice. Nicely worked down. So sometimes these are worth holding on to if you've got the balls to do it. I haven't at the moment, but if I had, you know, I was looking at what's it trades, Matt Trades. What's his name? You guys know him, mate. I think he had yesterday at about $61,000 in each account, so he had about $11,000 or $12,000 buffer, and he's taking money every month. Now, if I had $11,000 or $12,000 in these, you'd certainly feel a little bit calmer, I think, because you've got a nice, comfortable buffer then. Trading 2 contracts with over $10,000 in there, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable. Trades by Matt, that's how I'm thinking. In fact, did anybody see it? Was it yesterday? There was a little knock at the door, and his little daughter, who was about 2 or 3 years old, just walked up to gave him a kiss and hug and walked out. So let's have a look. So it is sideways, but a lot of the time these channels work that way, up sideways. But sometimes when they go sideways, you're just not sure. Is it starting to range? But there's no trade there really. It's an inside bar, although it's 2 legs back. It would have to look a little bit better for me personally. But it is 2 legs. We're clearly working to the top. 2 clear legs back. I don't know. So it's one of those things. When you get a bit more experience, you may decide to have a go at it, because a lot of the times it will work. And sometimes, if we always wait for that perfect bar, sometimes it never happens. You know, sometimes you've got to take a chance in life, haven't you? If you sit around all the time and wait for that perfect scenario, which is what we're always really advised to do with trading, sometimes you miss out. But yeah, he has, yeah. But he struggled not long ago, 6 months. Yeah, I was looking back on some of Alpine's as well, and he said he was only, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 in a year. But the longer you sit at these charts, the better you're going to get at things. You're going to get a gut feeling for things, and just when you've got experience, you tend to make better decisions, don't you? But I do like to see people do well. He's a nice guy, actually, Matt. I was just watching him. I mean, his trade's completely different from me, but he's got a nice personality, and but I think it's the ideal, sensible thing to do. 20 accounts with over a $10,000 buffer. If you can get $10,000 and then say whatever I make over the coming month, I'll pay myself. I don't know how comfortable I'd feel with having $200,000 of my money sat in Apex's pocket. Because you just never know, do you? You just never know. But I think he has mentioned about taking it out, or taking a chunk of it out. I'd be inclined to take a chunk of it out and trade it in my own account, I think. But see, this is looking like it's slowly working up, but I prefer another touch a little bit further up, really. We didn't get it, and we have had a bit of a triple test there, so you don't know whether we may get a bit of a correction, especially after that one. So for me, there's just nothing that would interest me there. If that was below here, then I don't think that would be a bad place to have a go, because it's not a huge bar. I think you have to take that into consideration. If it's not a big risk, yeah, tick above, tick below. It's a 1.75, which is about as low as we got at the moment. It's not a bad risk, that, to be fair. Does Trade by Matt tell you how he does it? No, you can see. No, he doesn't really. You can sort of see sometimes when he goes in, but he's got his own style of doing things. It's there's not many people that make money that show you how to do it. I don't know why. Perhaps they're a little bit paranoid that maybe if Apex think you're showing everyone on their copy and you're making the same money, that they may see. There's always that possibility that with Alpine making that money, and everyone, because everyone was talking about it. I had messages from other traders saying, "Have you seen Alpine?" Stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, everyone's discussing it, and everyone's looking at his strategy. Then, did that spur Apex to adjust any of these rules or enforce any of these rules? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But I think if he was making that much money and he was worried about it, I don't think he should have streamed, really, because he may have still been in it now. It's not like he needed to. I mean, he was a good trader. He was making plenty of money. I started streaming because back a year or so ago when I started, a year and a half nearly, I was crap. And I think the biggest plus for me was to have people watching, and I'm less likely to make a stupid mistake. And that was part of it, and part just to chat to other traders and get other ideas and learn from them. And, you mix yourself with people, you want to be like, and it helps you in the long run. But if he's earning a bags of money and he was worried about his strategy, Mac's strategy wouldn't worry about me. It's about as standard and as massively risk-free as you can get, really. Risking 2.5 points to make 2 points. There's nothing spectacular about it. I'm not going for massive risks or massive stops. It's about as standard as you can get. But if he would have stopped streaming, he may have still been trading that same strategy today. Finally pulling money. You are, or he is, or Matt is. I've got to say, the last 3 weeks doing this has been the least amount of trades I've ever taken. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, a couple of legs up. So we got sort of a couple of legs back, a couple of legs up. Nothing we can really take here. Let me just... What's it still struggling? Not the penguin. Panda. I don't quite understand what his sort of system is. I think he started with Max, and then had a bit of Al Brooks, and then had a bit of his own. I think he seems to have about 4 red days a week, which is a shame. So if you look back on a lot of his older videos, he was actually getting mostly green days, but over the last sort of year or so, I don't know quite what's happened. Whether he's slipped into some bad habits or what, I don't know. What's going on here? It's very similar to yesterday, very choppy and wicky. So we've had a push up there, a couple of legs back. Is that a setup? Not really. Kind of working in that tier, but I wouldn't be taking anything here. Edward, how you doing, mate? It just took me 20 minutes to read all the different ways Apex can suspend your accounts before signing for a PA. There are lots, including sitting on spare PAs you can switch to if you blow one up. All right. I don't see. I think there's a little bit of probably worrying going on, isn't there? I notice What's-It seems to be what's her name? What's the girl? What's her name? She's running them down a bit lately. Is it Kellyanne? Kellyanne. She's taken issue with them a bit lately. I don't quite know why. I think there's just a little bit of concern, a little bit of worrying about these rules, but I don't believe the rules are any different. I think they're just enforcing them. Put it this way, the trouble is you have rules and you have laws for a reason, but where there are rules and laws, there are always people trying to break them, trying to bend the system. And, unfortunately, things like car insurance is a lot more expensive than it needs to be because there's so many different scams out there, which ends up costing us all in the long run. So it makes perfect sense there's going to be the same with this. So, Apex are a business. If they're losing a lot of money, if you run a supermarket and people are stealing your goods and you're losing money, you're going to put new rules into place to stop it happening. You're going to get security guards and so on and so forth. So it makes sense that they're saying, okay, we've let things go as long as we can. People are trying to play the game and scam us. They're trying to fiddle and swindle and whatever else. We've got to start enforcing the rules. So whether they will strictly or not, but if they're a business, they've got to look into ways of not getting ripped off. So I haven't got a problem with Apex. I wouldn't use them otherwise. For me, they're about as good as is available at the moment. Way before I ever heard of Alpine, I remember reading my first PA agreement, and they mentioned that you were supposed to use reasonable stop loss. Yeah, I don't think the rules have changed. I just think they've probably bought them because, as far as I was concerned, I've never paid much attention to the rules because, as far as I'm concerned, I know what I've got to do and what I haven't got to do. But I've never heard people saying, "Oh, I haven't been paid because of this." Everyone seems to get paid. So I don't think it's a case of all of a sudden they brought these rules in. They haven't really. They're just enforcing them, the rules that have already been there. But if people are going to play the system and try and play unfair games to gain money, then they're going to start enforcing them at some point. So I think they probably get a hard time at the moment. But they're a business. They've probably got thick skin. They can put up with it all. But unfortunately, because there are people who do try and fiddle the system, it's unfortunately affecting us all. But that's the way the world works. It's a little bit more clear on this NQ. We've had this leg up and a bit of a correction. A lot of times it does this, it'll push up, come back and have one more test before it bounces. So probably a leg and a leg if they're a bigger channel there. Maybe, not sure. I've heard the talk and rumours, but often got denied. Yeah. There are some people who are saying they don't get paid. Now, I know they have had issues with payments. When I had a payment a while back when they were switching from Wise, mine was stalled for about a week. But I got it, and I've never been denied a payment. I've always had it on time. In fact, most of the time it's early. But if people are playing the system a bit and they're getting caught out, they're going to kick off, aren't they? They're going to make a fuss about it. And once tongues start wagging, people are going to start thinking, oh, he hasn't got paid. But they don't know the circumstances as to why. So I just, I tend to treat people how they treat me. Apex have always been right with me. I've never had any issues. So, there's no reason for me to change anything. Caden, how you doing, bud? Sometimes why my order gets too late to execute. Why does your order too late to execute? Are you using a market order, are you, bud? Sometimes when you use market orders, if I open a market order, let's do it up here. If I open, say, a buy market order, sometimes if I drag it down, if this is what you're on about, and you're waiting for a bar to finish and you want to go long, sometimes as you drop it, the market moves off and hits it, kicks it out. And it happens sometimes when the market's moving a bit quicker. So I tend to use a limit order because your limit order will either get taken or it'll stay there, whether this will just get kicked off. And not only that, if you trade in multiple accounts, sometimes with buy stop orders and sell stop orders.
Order
Sometimes it'll only
canceled.
trigger some of them. What the hell's this? Oh, sorry, I wonder what was going on there. Yeah, sometimes, no, just create the order and it's yellow. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know why it does that, in all honesty. I read something somewhere on a forum that it was something to do with a simulated account. I'm not too sure. But what I will say, mate, is when you open an order, or open it up here somewhere,
Order
out
submitted.
the way, and just what I tend to do sometimes is just move it a little bit and just check it's working. At least that way, if it does freeze, you've obviously got a little bit of time. But a lot of the time, you shut
Order
it down
cancelled.
there, or right-click and close it, and then just reboot Ninja Trader. I get phases of it happening, but I upgraded to I updated Ninja Trader, I think, over the weekend, and so far I haven't had any of those freezing, but it is a bit of a ball ache, mate, and I don't quite know the answer as to why. But anything like that is a little bit concerning at times. But just make sure your systems, clear your cache at the end of the day and stuff like that. H happens to you as well. Yeah, it kind of goes yellowy orange, doesn't it? I'm not sure. What I would suggest is just email Ninja Trader and just say, look, this keeps happening, and see what they suggest. Whether it's to do with Apex, I wouldn't have said so. I wouldn't have said it would to do with, but I did read on some sort of forum when I looked at it a month ago. It's something to do with a simulated account. I don't quite know. See, if it's simulated account, it's not deemed as something to be concerned about if it goes wrong, because it's a sim. But obviously, from a prop trader's point of view, this is just as vital to us as real market moves. I place it, move it a little bit, make sure it doesn't. Yeah, best thing to do, then place it. If you open it, if obviously buy order down here and sell order up here, whatever you do, but open it comfortably out the way, so you've got some time to sort it. But what I find, if it does freeze, I click the cross, often it still stays there, and then I'll right click here, either cancel all orders or in positions, close or flatten everything. And if it's still there, I'll just close down Ninja Trader and reboot it, and then almost always it's disappeared. So it is a ball ache. In fact, I'm gonna email Ninja Trader myself later and just see if they can give me some sort of an answer as to why it's doing it. But trouble is, trading's stressful enough as it is when you got money on the line without, things like rhythmic causing problems and market orders, orders freezing on Ninja Trader. It's the last thing you want to do when you're risking money. But what I will suggest is is if anybody doesn't have this positions tab in for rhythmic, make sure you can see this, because on the very rare occasion I've had nothing in here, but there's been an order live here, and you can click that button. So always have your positions tab open from rhythmic, and I always have my positions and my orders tab. So at the end of a trade, I have a quick glance to the right and make sure both these boxes are empty, and that is greyed out, which tells me there's no orders still live either on rhythmic or Ninja Trader. And I have them on the screen as well, because I use OBS and record. So if there's ever any issues with rhythmic or something goes wrong, I can I've got video evidence to say, well, I'm clicking it, I'm doing whatever I can. Hey Dean, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, mate? I'm all good, mate. How are you? Congrats on 20. Thanks, mate. What's your plan? How to trade them? Okay, well, that 20, if you'd have heard my conversation earlier, is now 19. I made a mistake. I took what I believed to be one contract and it turned into 10. So I've since deleted all my ATM strategies, so I can't click the wrong one. But the plan for me is to trade 10 and then 10 again. So never trade all of my accounts in one trade just in case something goes wrong with it. And what I may likely do after a while, at the moment, I'm just trading this on one account just to get a bit of feel for it. What I may do is, if this seems to be relative, I mean, look, as far as I can see, what trades are available there, that one, triple test, beautiful. Maybe something here, I don't know, but this to me seems a little bit more trade worthy at the moment. So what I may do is trade 10 contracts on the CL. Another reason I'm only trading one at the moment is I want to make sure I don't accidentally slip into any trading of any news. Because if you watch the news, a lot of the time the news won't affect this, but there are news which is related to oil which you need to be aware of. So another reason why I'm just finding my fate with it at the moment. But yeah, the plan is to trade 10 on that and 10 on this, so I can trade everything in one go. But if I've got a trade in here, then, you know, hopefully if I've got one in either one, I'll only be ever risking, should I get any problems, fingers crossed I don't, only half because, you know, if something does go wrong and Apex say, well, it's only happened to you, or maybe a handful of people are going to do nothing. If you lose all your 20 accounts, it's kind of game over in it. So still waiting for my payout approval. They're really going to wait until every last minute. It just might be busy, mate. That's all. I won't worry too much. No news is good news. I've never had a payout refused. So I won't worry just yet. But they do say now, is it pending or something like that or whatever? They've worded it slightly different. It seems a little bit more scary than it really is. So how are you getting on with GAT, Dean? Hopefully you're doing well with it. So Salvatore still waiting for you. Yeah. Did it happen on an eval or a PA? It happened on a PA, mate. I took this trade yesterday afternoon. This one here. That second entry short there. Now, a lot of the times, if I have one contract, I'll have one C. And if I've got 10 contracts, I'll have 1 0. Now, this is the third time I've done it. Stupidly enough, I should have done something, but this was the trade I took. I love the channel that much. We had a little leg up with the break new high, lower high. And as soon as it triggered, I knew exactly what had happened. But I thought, I love the trade. It's only one account. Just hold on. And it started going down, and then it came back, and then it started coming down again. And I thought, okay, this is it. Here we go. I thought straight away, if I get $1,000 out of this, that'll put me in the payment. And then all of a sudden, it started going up and up and up. So I put my stop here, and then you panic then, which is why we only have a set contract amount. But so I was chatting with a guy last night, and he said he's done it a bunch of times. And he said, just delete all your Apex, your ATM strategies so you can't hit the wrong one. And the only one I've currently got in there is what I trade all the time anyway. So that should stop that happening again. But I've done it 3 times. I did it with an account which was $100 away from payment with 10, and it just, I don't know what it is. Whenever you make a mistake, the market just seems to capitalize on it. And I went into the red with $800 that time, and I don't know, in the end the market shut and it kicked me trade off, and I was down about $1,000. But that should stop me. So if you have got, I had about bloody 30 of them in there. I had a massive list down there. I had about 3 or 4 different 10s, 3 or 4 different 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, about 3 27s in there. So just be aware of that if you've done it before. This last payout period was the quickest payout period. Yeah, sometimes it'll be quick, other times it won't. Why it is, I don't know. Very nice failure on the 5 minute. Yeah, never looked at any of the minute charts. I browsed at them, but I've never really gone to them. Yeah, plenty of people would disagree. Yeah, I mean, how the people that saying they're not getting paid, how are they trading their account? I've heard of a few people say I got $2,000 one day, but they still paid me out. So they're getting a bit strict now. So if you happen to have some losses and you lose a chunk of money, and then the next day you take a risk and you get $2,000, they may flag it. So that may be why all of a sudden, there seems to be a few more people. It was quicker because Apex said they hired extra staff in the office. Yeah, I read that yesterday. What was I reading it on? Somebody made a comment, said they've hired extra staff. So, but I mean, if you think about it, there's, it's a numbers game, isn't it? These evaluations are 90% off at the moment. The $250,000 are 90% off. So there's going to be more people taking these, and the more people that are trading, the more accounts they got. It's a numbers game, isn't it? There's going to be a lot more payments. There's obviously going to be a lot more blown accounts, but the payments are likely to go up as well. So, but if they're going to flag people, why wait until the very last day? Yeah, I don't know, bud. Whether they've got anything automated in place which flags something up. Maybe they're just flagging the larger payment. I really don't know. It would be nice to know. But yeah, it's a tough one, that, isn't it? Fortunately, touch wood, I haven't had a payment denied. And I think if you're trading normally, if you're trading normally, I don't think you got anything to worry about. But what I will say to you as well is, I have mentioned this before. Download this. I'm going to drag it in. It's going to look a bit freaky. But download this thing here. It's called OBS. And you've got record, stream, and all that sort of thing. You can get it to capture and just record it. That way, if you have any issues, you can always look back on it and find out what went wrong. And you've also got proof to say, okay, well, look, you've seen my trades every day. This is my setup. And if everything runs smoothly, you can always delete it at the end of the day, but it just may help you to look back and see if there's something here that you might have missed. Pat's Arista word works always against you. Yeah, better late. Yeah, you do. Scout trades, at least 1, 2 trades there, yeah. I mean, I go for 2 points, between 2 points and 10 ticks, so 2 to 2.5 points. So for me, with the current market risk, the bar size, I think trading for a point, you have to be a very good trader to do that. And yeah, you need to be trading a few trades, 2 trades a day, whatever. But it works out better in your favour if you can trade larger contracts and have a runner as well. But, look, it makes sense. If you've got a supermarket and you're selling food and your wholesale price your stock price goes up, what you're buying it from the manufacturers, you have to put you have to increase your prices as well. So if these bars now are bigger, the ATR's bigger, if the risk's bigger, the profit has to be, it's just your signal bar isn't going to be larger and every other bar is going to be smaller. It makes perfect sense. If your risk bar's bigger, your signal bar's bigger, every bar's bigger, which means, you need to increase your profit. So I think, for me, 2 points is 2 points to 10 ticks is the sweet spot. Around here, I think 2 points is ideal. You see good setups. Good setups go for a lot more. There's a good setup for me. Leg down, clear triple test. So many of these trades just go forever. But if it's a really good quality setup, they do work. So I would say, personally, I would start from 2 points. If you trade 1 point, just go through your trades. Make a note of how much each trade would have made. And if, 19 times out of 20, it's making 2 points and you're going for 1 point, it's a no-brainer. You can afford to lose every third one if you're making double the profit. But if it's working 19 times out of 20, which from my experience it will, it's absolutely a no-brainer. Now, if you're used to sitting through just 1 point, there may be another, a little bit longer sometimes sitting through it, but, the numbers don't lie. If the numbers are saying 98 times out of 100, the market will go for at least 2 points, going for a point is just for me personally. Now, Mac's his own person. Mac's been doing this for donkey's years. If it works, why change it? And I would say probably 80% of his money comes from his runners. He's an experienced trader. He can work out where these markets going. And I'd say for me, his 1 point scalp is just his basic wage, and he makes his money on his runners. But for me, it's common sense. If the risk's getting bigger, you have to put the profits up. But yeah, if you trouble is sometimes that ATRs can be quite high. It's not unusual to have a 3 point risk. Then you've got to go for a point. Yeah, it is frustrating to know sometimes you get 4 winning trades and then you lose one and you end up slightly in the red by the time you take away commissions. Okay, so there may be two little legs down here. There's a very small risk there. But after this, 2 pushes up. I'm just staying out of this. So I'm not really paying much attention at the moment. I'm focusing on my gob talking, but I'm not sure how I feel about this at the moment because we got that drop out, but then we had a strong push up. So whether this thing isn't even really a channel. I don't know what's going on at the moment. Straight lines tattoo. I also do 1 point with 3 points stop. My success rate. Yeah, you need to be. See, if you're not sure, I get the concern if you're not sure about it, if you've been going for 1 point, but I would just look through your trades and every time just make a little note. If you're doubling your profit every single time, even if you lost every third one, you'd still be more profitable. So just look through your trades. Obviously your winning trades, your bad losing trades, it really doesn't make a difference anyway. If it's a loss, it's a loss. But you'll be amazed how many. The first time I started looking at this, I looked back at Daniel's charts for a month and I saw 36 trades and every single one of them made comfortably over 2 points. I looked at my charts back maybe a year or so ago and I was amazed that 85% of my trades went for over 6 points. So, it's each to their own. You've got to make your own decisions. Just because, some people do it one way doesn't mean, but like you say, if you've got a 90% win rate, if it's, why fix what's not broken? So, but you've got to do your own thing. It depends on your risk. It's hard to read again today. We're getting loads of days like this. There's a larger channel there. I'm not sure about that. Push up sideways with a drop, one leg up, and maybe working. I don't know. It's a bit hard to. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. TW made a video about trading different charts. A section about profit targets. TW. Who's TW? Oh, Thomas Wade. This is recently, I think, isn't it? In the last couple of 3 weeks. Yes, he did. I watched it because I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, he started on the CL and didn't he do 2,000 ticks and then 756 and 1,000 ticks and eventually brought it down. I think he was looking at what seems to be the sweet spot. I think that's what you're talking about, Baby Squid. Max system is still attached to a 1-point target. You can easily extend the target. The runner is the bonus and exception. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, okay. It was an interesting video, that, actually. It was nice to see that. I wish he'd do a video every day. He only tends to do every other day. But in all honesty, I'm not being nasty to Mac because he's helped me out. But I get more value from Thomas's than Mac's. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to Mac. Mac's the main man. But I do get more sort of value, I think. He tends to think more on the lines with me, Thomas. I always find my channel seem to be a lot more like his. Sometimes I have these doubts. Is my channel right? And then when I look at his, he talks about it, and we're on similar wavelengths, which gives me a little bit more confidence in myself. So we got a leg. What's going on? Are we going to push up? Is that like a spike with a channel? We've kind of got 2 legs back, and there is, maybe you consider high or low, but it is a bit congested, so I'm not massively convinced I know what's going on here. Trouble is, I don't mind that, but with the break, it looks a bit weird. Okay, quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 minute. Okay. Second entry. It is very choppy. Yeah, you're not wrong. Took it for 6 ticks. Which did you take, bud? Looks like a second entry along with a high-low. And about there. Yeah, I'm just not sure about this. So if you'd have got that, I think you'd have got your points, wouldn't you? You'd have got 2 points, I think. 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test? It's very tempting, but it's 14 ticks. I'm staying out of this, although it is like a triple test, but I'm not massively convinced I know what's going on with this chart, so I'm staying out of that. But I don't think it's a bad position to take a trade, actually. We had 2 legs down. We've had 1, 2, 3. It is like a triple test, but it's 14 ticks. That's 3.5 points. Tick above, tick below. I'm not risking $400 on 10 accounts. Took it triple test for 1 point. Yeah. You'd expect that to get to these highs, wouldn't you? I'm just not massively convinced I know what's going on at the moment. Let's have a look. So if you get in there, a tick above it. Let's say you're getting a tick above it. Let's say you're getting right on the nail. So my concern is it kind of looks like a channel, but we've had a break, and it looks like a spiking channel, but it is a bit congested. But I actually don't think we got 2 legs back. It looked like a terrible bar, but it is a bit congested. I stayed out of it, one because it's 14 ticks, and I ain't risking $400 times 10. I'm not risking $4,000 on that. I mean, if you're getting a tick above that, there's a 1.25. There's a 1.5 to the tops. Let's say 0.75. Right, I'm not risking that much for that little. And it's just 14 ticks. So $400 risk. And not only that, we have had this break. I'm not even massively convinced that as a channel, though it seems to fit. Targeting 40 ticks with this low ATR. See, it's nearly at 2. It shouldn't be too bad, but I think you have to work out how far you've got. But we've already had a break from this. We could have a leg and a leg, so this may come down and upset some people. Is that going to break below there, or is it going to hold? I hope if anybody's in there, it holds. Because it's a big bar, that. Let me have a look. Let me adjust that a bit. Hopefully, this might push up bullish. That is scary. You'd expect that to push to the highs. It's solidly sat on support. But this market is just, that's what I mean. The ES for me has just become untrustworthy. I can't trust trades that I would have trusted a year or two ago. It's almost like it's got clever and it's catching you out. It's almost like it's learning from its mistakes, and it's it may hold, but that's worrying. I'm just trying to think if I could. I can't even adjust that like that because that's just. I mean, there may be a lower high there. If that pushes below there, you'd expect us to meet some stops, wouldn't you? I mean, this could look bearish. I mean, we got a leg and a leg. There's a big bearish bar there. If that gets below there, especially that bar there, this thing may take a jump down. That's looking scary, that. If that gets below there, this is game over there. Excuse me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. Right, leg and a leg. Oh, that's very tempting. Trouble is, we've already had a break. Second entry long there, break out the bottom. God, that's tempting. 8 ticks. What to do? What to do?
Order submitted.
Very tempted to take this.
Order canceled.
This. I'm just not sure what I'm seeing here. We've had 2 legs back and it is a second entry long. So you'd expect that to push to the top. There's certainly a 1.5 there anyway. The bit that's keep me out of this, I'm not a massive fan of this channel. And technically we've already had a break, 2 pushes up, so you don't know whether it's going to trap in some longs and just drop. Yeah, it may go up. It may just push up and have a little retest. Trouble is, if this is a channel which it's kind of messy, but it kind of works, we've already had a break of it, so this just could upset some people. Well, look at this. Or is this going to be a short trap? There's actually a failure there. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Being more inclined to go short there. But it is congested, it's choppy, and the bar's quite big, so I'm staying out of this one. Yeah, the bar's finished there anyway, so I'm just staying out of this. It's just hard to read at the moment. Could come down, it's looking like it is. So if you'd have taken that a tick above, you'd have got a 1.75 tops. Yeah, it's a bit riskier, isn't it, going along there, I think. I like the setup. You'd have got a 1.5 there, but I mean, if that was a good setup, you'd expect it to push to these highs. But this to me looks like it's going to break the lows. I think what kept me out of that trade is a fact. 1, I'm not a massive fan of the channel, although I will agree it kind of works. But 2, we've already had a break of it and a push up. We've had a break of this. You push up to a new high, so it could trap some longs and drop like a stone. So far, you're still okay. And it may hold. But for me, I just couldn't bring myself to take that. It's very whippy. I will say that it looks like 2 legs with a breakout. But then look, it goes up so far and turns quickly. So I'm kind of glad I stayed out of that. May hold. It is 2 legs down, and it is a second entry long, and it is a breakout, but it failed temporarily and then dropped out again. So may work. Sometimes if it's a strong, I don't think it's a terrible setup. Trouble is, when it's like this whippy and choppy, it can upset you. So I don't know, sometimes that concerns me as well. Push up, a little bit of sideways with a break, and 2 pushes up to a new high. Another little channel with a break, a few pushes up to a new high. So we could start to work down. I mean, this is looking precarious now. Is that going to break there? I wouldn't want to be in this trade now. I mean, it may hold, but it's just lost its trustworthiness. This is. It's like having a mate you used to trust, and he's just done so many different shifty and shady things lately. You just can't bring yourself to trust him. And my new mate, who was not so shifty, is the CL. I looked at that. There was kind of a hidden second entry short there. We have had a push up and another push up. I like the way it's broken above there, and that may have got some small points there. You'd have probably got 1-to-1 there even. Touch, working, touch. That looks pretty good to me. I thought that trade was lovely. That's the one of the day for me. Well, the one of the week, I think. So there may be some shorts in that. There's a failure there, trapping them longs after the 2 legs down. So the bar finished there, but it came down. So I think that is going to go. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? One more tick and it's game over. Yeah, there we go. So the bit that kept me from going long there is the fact that we've had a break of this. And this channel is a bit hard to read. It may not be a channel. We might have a leg up sideways. It's hard to say. Let's take it away, see if it looks any better. Yeah, I'd be inclined to say I don't like that. Let's get rid of that. Channel maybe, break, 2 pushes up to a new high, retest, leg up, break, cut the push up to a new high and slowly working down. Yeah, this is one of these scenarios that it looks like it's going up when I think in reality it's actually working down. That's the trouble really, if you get these channels wrong. It can really get, I mean, it fits at the top pretty nice, but yeah, 2 legs down, nice big bullish bar, you go long if you don't like that. 2 legs down, go long, and all the time it's trapping longs coming down, trapping longs and coming down. So I think if you take that away, it becomes a bit clearer because we've already had a break of that. So I don't think it is. We got a touch, just I don't know. So we got a channel with a break, 2 pushes up to a new high, couple of legs down, a little bit of sidewards, followed by another push up. That to me is just a little bit sideways, whatever you call it. And that looks like a little sort of fake out, and then, you know, there may be some people taking short, then all of a sudden it turns, pushes up strong, so you may get caught going short there thinking, yeah, we got to push up to a new high. We've made multiple attempts to go higher. Quick drop, down we come. Comes back there. You go short below there. Triggers your pushes up, takes out. So another day of fine, hard to read price action. Touch, 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 touch. I mean, there may end up being a bit of a range here. It's a bit wide, I think, at the moment, but so if you manage to get, I think, a tick and a half, a point and a half there, I think you might have got a bit lucky there. Stop. Let me go. I don't know. Maybe it is a bit sideways. I'm not sure about that. This thing's taking a dump now. See if we get a second entry short here. Let's just check that doesn't part. There's a couple of legs up on the CL. Seems to be working here, leg and a leg, but it's typical looking, quite nice. I still love the look of stuff like these on the ES, but the trouble is the ES have almost made me suspicious of these, so I tend to always wait for the lower high. I don't think it's going to form anyway, but No, it's not. Careful if you're thinking about a short here. I don't think it's gonna drop, I think, isn't it? What's it? Oh, that triple test was an absolute beaut, wasn't it? Clear as day, that. Nice channel down there with the break. So 2 little legs up, 2 more attempts. Nice bearish bar, triggered that long. Beautiful, look at that. That's the type of trade you want. One of them a day. You'll do really well. So that's interesting. So leg up, we're coming to the top here. So I'll be looking for a lower high. So touch, 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 touch. We're touching here multiple times. So be interesting to see what happens there. I never used to take those at the top of a range. Sometimes Mac would mark them. I always used to wait for the higher low, or sorry, the lower high. Trouble is, it's just become untrustworthy on the. I think I've lost trust in the markets because of the ES. So I'm gonna. Oh, started to come bearish on the CL and just turned and pushed up quickly. Oh, is that worth a go for a small risk?
Order submitted. Order filled.
It's got to be worth a go. I've got an orange bar. Balls. It's got to be worth a go. It's $140 risk. I can live with that. Let's go for $140 profit. Come on, come down. It's a small enough risk, I think.
Target filled.
I'm out of it. It's probably going to be all right, but I'm just losing my confidence in trades at the moment. I just got out for it for $50 or $60 or something. I don't know. I'm just losing confidence. I don't think it's a bad trade, actually. We're touching multiple times, and it may work. Touch, 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 touch. It's working. We've had a leg up, leg back, clearly another leg up with a little break, and we've pushed up and reversed. So look what happened when we did it last time. You'd have made money there. 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 Every single time it worked. So you'd expect it to work. And in all fairness, it was only $140 risk. I just saw the opportunity to make $60 and took it. I think it'll work. It worked. I mean, it's what do you do? What do you do? Don't not do that now. What I will say is, let me have a look. Is it going to work, or is it going to stitch me, or it would have stitched me? I mean, look at that. It's a little leg with a break. It's gonna. I'm quite glad I got out of it now, but why? Why has it done that? Got a leg up, pull back, followed by a leg up. I'm quite glad I got out of that now. So I made myself $60. To be honest with you, even though they tend to work, I always wait for the lower high. The only reason I took it is because it was a small bar and it was only on one account, because I'm getting a feel for this, and it pushed above it and rejected it right the way along. So you'd expect that to work, wouldn't you? But anyway, I got out of it for $60 because I was a coward. It was a third entry. Yeah, that doesn't usually bother me. A lot of the times, Mac will say, we get up the top and see, for me, one leg up, two legs up. For me, the reason to take that, and same in a lot of cases, is let me think, what was that? That was a second entry, that worked. That was yeah, maybe it had something to do with it. Let's have a look here. Yeah, maybe. I just like the way it pushed off, and a lot of times Mac will mark those because it's at the key entry point, and it's a small risk. Sometimes he'll say you just got to take it. Fortunately, I lost my confidence and took $60 in it. I'm quite glad I did it. I got a, it happened. Bloody hate this. Oh, I hate it when you lose the top. Oh, friggin' Fridays. So that. CL. How do I? Oh, I hate that. Sorry about that. It was a whack on my forehead. That. How do I get rid of that? How do I get rid of it? Oh, the top's hidden. I can't move it. How do I do it? How do I do it? Oh, my head's fried today. Anybody know? I've hidden the top between monitors. How do I move it? I've gone blank. Oh, God damn it. Anybody know how to do that? I've done it before, but I can't think how to do it. See this chart here, the CL, the top of it, where I move it, is stuck in between two monitors. How do I do it? I can move this thing, but I can't move the screen. How do I do it? You have to grab it by the top, don't you? Oh, I'm not having a good day today. Press the window key. Window key. Yeah. Right click on the screen on the window bar. Alright, let's do it again. So press the window key. Hold on a minute. Is there a minimize? Is there? So like, I don't know where the minimize is. So press the window key and right click on the screen. Windows tab. So Windows. So I've got this up now. Control and minus. That ain't worked. Where the hell's minimize? Oh, you idiot. Hold on a minute. So if I right click on it, click minimize. Okay, that's got it. Yeah, you said that. Right click and minimize. Now where's it going to go now? Right back to the same place. What's going on? Hold on a minute. Okay, let's try maximize. So maximize. That's better. There we go. Maximize worked in the end. Cheers, guys. Yeah, minimize sent it down. When I brought it back up, it went to the same place. Okay, so look at that now. Let's put it where I need it. You took that, trigger just stopped you out and ended up coming goddamn down. Oh, look at that now. Oh, why has it done that? Let's have a look. Why would it do that? Right at the key entry point, triggers you, stops you out, and then ends up going in the... you're right. You're right, Jeff, don't worry. Yeah, I wouldn't normally take that, to be honest with you. I don't take them just because they're there. Having said that, any bearish bar off this key entry point that you took, including that one, worked. And the one when I decided to get in triggered me, would have stopped me out. I got out for... I just lost my confidence, but why? Why did that not work? We got a little sort of channel with a break new high. Oh well. And it's coming right the way down now as well. Goddamn thing. What I will say is we've kind of, mind you, this worked, didn't it? Are we kind of losing a bit of momentum here? Which is why we've had a small break. But the trouble is, if you bring that in to there, maybe it is losing a bit of momentum. Mind you, that one did, and it came back to there and reversed. So why did that not work and that did? Okay, maybe that's... Well, that is, isn't it? We got a leg and a leg. Same thing, a leg and a leg. I don't know. Which is why I always wait for the lower high, to be honest with you. I took it there because this chart seems to be playing fair setups, and it diddled me there, but I got out for I got $60 on it. It's only one account on there just to get a bit of experience trading it. That's a good reason why I only take the lower highs when it comes back to the key entry point. In fact, you could even probably argue, I'd say you could argue this, but if you look at this one, we have actually got a channel here, haven't we? Small break new high. If you incorporated that channel, did it make things any better? You could argue it's still in there, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it is, I suppose. You could argue that's still in the channel and that one isn't. So that may be why. This is hard to read today. Another day of hard stuff. Okay, folks, I've been going for just under 2 hours now. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I feel a bit frustrated today. Kind of started last night with that thing, but so far it hasn't done me any damage. So I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Let's move that over. Quick 5-minute break. Quick cup of tea and I'll be back. Okay. Oh, just noticed a spelling error. That's not how you spell ends. Okay. Right. Yeah, I'm just looking at the NQ just to see if there is anything that resembles a channel. It's hard to say, really. It's just not very clear. Not sure about that one. Still struggling with Ninja Trader. I think it's too suffer I've used 2000s. 1000 tick. My chart is very different than yours. Have you reloaded your historic, bud? Have you? Just right click on the screen and just reload that, and that should. You might have already done it, but just click reload, and that should hopefully make it look a little better. So just right click on the screen and click reload, and that should make it look a little bit closer to mine then. Same. Excellent. Yeah, I don't know why why it does it, but I know that's something we do. Oh, same as was before. Oh, sorry about that. I'll tell you what. Let me reload mine again. See if that might help you out. Is that any better? Either way. Okay, try this. Go into your data series and check. It says the same as their CME US Index Futures ETH, where it says trading hours. So you're just going into that little box up there. It just looks like a knuckle. It just looks like a fist with a little box around it, and just check. That's the same as there. Change the ETH the same. Anybody else got any suggestions? So you've got it at 6, you've got it at 2000 tick chart. I don't know what to suggest. Sometimes they are a little different. I've noticed mine sometimes a little different than Max. I think this certain of element is the data that comes from the service to your computer. Might slightly differ in time to mine or to anybody else's, depending on where you are in the world, what your internet speed is, what your computer is. That probably has something to do with it. Apart from that, I'm not really 100% sure. To each year it's the same, nothing now. No, I'm not sure. Oh, all the same now. Excellent, excellent. There we go. Happy days. Yeah, they can differ very, very slightly. Sometimes a bearish bar here might be a bearish pin bar on some, giving you the same sort of information but looking slightly different. You're very welcome, my friend. So, channel down there. 2 attempts to go higher. Are we now moving down? I've got no idea. Whether this is a channel or not, I don't know. I can't get it to fit nice. Maybe this is 2 attempts to go higher and then down. Yeah, channel down. 1, 2 attempts to go higher. I'd say there's a chance this is going to come down. I would sort of see that more as a penguin style trade. So, depending on where that finishes, he may do something like that before the lows. So it finishes. It's gone slow again. long on the NQ? You have. Not sure about that. So maybe we got a channel, 2 attempts to go higher. I would think this will be coming down to this level at least. Hope I'm wrong, mate, for your sake, Edward. It's just a bit unclear for me, really. Let's have a look. I ain't got a clue what's going on here. There may have been something larger there, I don't know. But to me, this a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, maybe for I don't know. Go on, push up. I don't know what I'm reading here, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. Maybe a channel. Leg back. Yeah, maybe that might be the reason. I just don't know what I'm seeing at the moment. But we got to push up. So it looks like a channel with 2 attempts to go higher, and usually after 2 attempts to go higher, it usually fails. I hope it doesn't. Go on, push up. Push, push, push. Channel down 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Come on down here. Has that got your stoppers, Edward? Not yet. Go on, get up. Get up, you bastard. Go on. Up. Go on. Uh, 18808, are you? You're down here somewhere then, are you? Just below this, somewhere below here. Come on, get up. See, I would think it would be a likely break there. Sorry, I can't see me pointing. I would have said. So we got a channel down there. Kind of looks like a channel. 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, which fails through the EMA. A little bit of a pullback. But I would think that for me would want to break that low there. But this market has just got a way of changing things up. I'm just finding it hard to read today, so I wouldn't have a clue where to put a trade in really at the moment. I suppose it's leg and leg. It's possible or it's feasible. There's a channel there. We got a touch, a touch, a touch, and a touch. So that's possible. Not hugely convinced, but I like the way it's working. I'm right the way there on that midline. So we'll see. It's coming down this. I've got this channel, although I'm not overly convinced it is, but it's the best I got at the moment. Interesting channel with a push up. One attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, failure. You may be right here, Edward. Works the opposite way. Channel down with a break. Two attempts to go higher. Also two attempts to go lower. I do like the way it is respecting that midline right the way there, there and there, and here. So we're going to whip above this, trigger this, and then poof. Hate it when it goes slow like this. Just keep in mind, folks, that 90% off ends tomorrow. Assuming it's midnight, it usually is. 1 day, 12 hours. So, what time is it, US at the moment? It's 10 to 12 midnight, isn't it? Yeah, so midnight Eastern time tomorrow night. When does the 250 promo end? That's a good question, mate. I think it's the same time. 90% off either as 1 day to pass. Yeah, I think it is. That's all I've got really there. That's all it's saying. Just 90% off evals and 1 day to pass. So, let's see if I can find any more information. No, I can't see any more information. No, I can't see anything else. I think it's June Sunday, I'm not sure. June. So look on the Apex website, Facebook group. Apex valuation is the offer extended to 30th. Lifetime fee for the 250 account and $85 ends 15th of June. So, the 90% off ends tomorrow, but you have until the 15th of June to pass the 250k account where you can pay $85. So as long as you've got it before the end of tomorrow, you can take up till the 15th of June and you still get the 1 day pass and $85 just for the 250 account. This is going up, Edward. So all the 90% off, so all the 90% offs end tomorrow. But if you've got a 250 account, you can get the 1 data pass and they'll stand with the $85 up to the 15th of June. So you've got 2 weeks and a couple of days. So you don't have to rush. But you need to purchase one, excuse me, before midnight tomorrow night. Oh, is this a triple test? God damn it. 1, 2, 3. Not sure I like that still. 1, 2, 3. What to do.
Order submitted.
Bummer. The bar might look okay on the
order cancelled.
The NQ. That to me is not quite bearish enough, really, although it is. Wanted that to be bearish. Triple test looks okay on the stop date. You got break even, did you? Okay, at least you got break even. It's hard to know here. There's a triple test forming, but the bar is. Let's have a look. It's tough on that. However you look at that, it's clearly 1, 2, 3 attempts. It's just not as bearish as I'd have liked it, but we have had 3 clear attempts to push up. So if that had been a bit bearish, then, but I think there's a good chance that's going to come down because it is 3 clear attempts to push up. But I prefer that a little bit more bearish, but I think it's probably still working. Does it matter? I don't know, maybe. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite enough. Some may have deemed it okay, but I would have want that slightly on the more bearish side. Trouble is, if there is a bit of a wick, you just never know. If you're going to get stopped out, best be for break even anyway. You don't mind. Well, you consider being stopped out as a losing trade, but break even doesn't really matter, does it? I don't class those as losing or winning. I just classed as an educated guess that it's time to come out of it. Ooh. Here we come. Down we come, I think. We're more or less down on here. Certainly enough for a comfortable 2 points anyway. The bar wasn't brilliant, to be honest with you. But it was a triple test. 3 clear attempts to push up, all closing below that line. So if that had been bearish, I'd have had a go at that. Clearly I'd have gone for 2.5 points from there, so I'd have comfortably got that. Well, I'd have hit 2 points and put me stop here, I think, and if it does happen to push, if it gets below there, see, we may come down below these lows here. Once we push below there, then I expect it to pick up some steam. Push up, 2 legs back, second entry long. I'd expect some stops below there. Somewhere around about there or there. It's not coming down as quick on the NQ actually. Okay, Edward, Kev's asking, what's your take profit in points on the NQ, bud? Just in case he doesn't read it, he might hear me. Stop that break even for going along there. I suppose if he took it here, where did he go? I can't remember now. He said he got in. So if it's going against you, sometimes you'll just put it at break even and hope it comes back. So that's weird. See, that triple test worked out perfectly, even though the signal bar wasn't brilliant. The signal bar was a bit better, and we've only gone halfway down. Not even enough for a scalp, I don't think. Maybe it would. If that was one, yeah. If you were going for, say, $200 a profit, you'd be out there. So a little bit better bar. But maybe it doesn't really matter too much, the fact that we've been rejected above there, price hasn't closed below there. It's semi-bearish, but it's, I don't know, it's more on the air of more of a sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit neutral, really, isn't it? That bit's pushed down, that bit's pushed up, so, but it is a triple test nonetheless, and clearly worked down to the lows. If that was a little bit better, I would have had a go at it. If that had been bearish from there, I'd have definitely jumped in. You could say a little push up sideways, but it's clearly 3 clear attempts. So maybe the NQ is coming down. There is a lower high on the NQ. So 1, 2, 3, little bullish bar there, triggered. Is this coming down below there? You'd think so, channel down. 3 attempts, you'd expect it to come down below these lows. Anybody know where what Sam's up to? He seems to have disappeared. I'll have to drop him an email out. See if he's okay. Last time he traded was 5 days ago, and he had some losses, so I hope he's recovered. I will be going on holiday in a couple of months. Not sure, we haven't booked it yet, but it's probably going to be in August sometime. It'll only be a week. Somewhere in Greece, I think we're on about going, just for a week. Moo is, I haven't got a clue, mate. I think last I heard, because I know he does a lot of running, doesn't he? A lot of distance running, marathons or races. So whether he's involved in that, I don't know. No, I've not heard about it. It's probably been a couple of months now, isn't it? Nice lad, Moo is. Whether he's just having a break or what, I don't know. But I do believe he's quite into his running. I think he does it. He competes. At what sort of level, I don't know, but I think it's important for him. So maybe it's the season. So he's disappeared. Sam we haven't seen. Surprising, because Sam usually, I know he works full time, so I think his streams usually start when I sort of finish around about 5:30. But he had nothing yesterday, nothing today. So I hope he's okay. I know he had a couple of losses on Friday, and we all know that can affect us sometimes. So I hope he's okay. He's another nice lad, Sam is. We've got a lovely community, actually. The thing about trading is there's no real competition, because it doesn't matter where I make all the money in the world. It doesn't stop you from making money. So there's no competition. I do like the sort of, the camaraderie there and everyone helping each other. Maybe he might have been, he might have just extended his weekend. But I do like it how everybody gets on. I get messages all the time, and I'm chit-chatting with people here and there. I love it, I do. Anybody ever wants to drop me a private message, go ahead. If you want to chit-chat trading, I can chat all day long, as you guys well know. So if you're bored one night, drop me a message. So there is like a triple test there with a bullish bar. Trouble is, that to me kind of looks like one leg. So I wouldn't take that. That's sort of more like 2 legs. I wouldn't take that, but it clearly worked to the tops. But this is more just a channel, really. So, and not only that, I'd expect this to get a little bit lower. So if this does come down a bit lower, I think that stop may disappear. After this and a few pushes up, I think I'd expect another leg down, or at least to get below these lows. But it may just be a larger ranging day today. It's sort of pushed up sideways, dropped. It is like an elevator, isn't it? Up a little bit of work, up a little bit of work, down. Doesn't often do this lately. We do get areas of congestion, but not so much sideways up, sideways down, sideways. So I've got all these bloody accounts and can't seem to make any money. It's typical, isn't it? I spent 3 years trying to get here, and by the time I get here, all the bloody trays disappear. You always go for lifetimes. Yes, I do, but yeah. To be honest with you, it's, what is it? It's about $85. Here we go. It's about $85 or $140. So it's only $55. But the trouble is, if you manage to get past 30 days, you're going to pay another $85. So you've saved already. So what I'll say to you is, if it's your first and you think you may struggle a bit, then maybe just go for the month, the monthly. But the trouble is, I mean, I got 19 accounts at the moment. So if I've got to pay $85, I've got to pay, I'm paying like $1,700 a month. I'm under a certain amount of pressure to make money. Whereas because I paid the one-off, I can sit back and not trade it. I can take a week off or a month off or whatever, and there's no pressure to make money, apart from obviously you need money to live. But, you know, if I've got to pay $1,700 every single month, that's a fair chunk of change, really. I've got to make sure I at least make that. So I'd say if you've got some payments and you're trying to build up, definitely go for the one-off payment. But if you're still quite new, maybe your first PA, then maybe just pay for the monthly. But you know whether you trust yourself. I mean, up until a few months ago, I wouldn't have trusted myself. So, I'd have taken just the monthly. But quickly, I will say, I don't think you can have some monthly and some lifetime. I think you have to have all the same. I think there's a message on there somewhere. I don't know if anybody has come across that. I'm pretty sure they all have to be the same. So if you've got a bunch monthly, I think you have to have the same. But just check on that. Pretty sure I've read somewhere on there where you go in to pay. I'm pretty sure I've read it. But yeah, if you were like me, you get a count one day and blow it half an hour later. Maybe just pay for the monthly. But if you get a bunch of them, you clearly been able to build a bit, so you don't want to be paying that every month. That'll cripple you, that will. And not only that, you are under pressure then to make money. You can take your time a little bit. Since I changed trade the NQ, things have been working for me. I'm 200 away from my second pack. Good on you, Kev. I have 7 accounts. Fantastic. To activate today, I don't know what to do. Not sure. I have 3 PAs now. One of them is lifetime. Okay, so perhaps you can have. That's a question that only you can answer, Kev. If you trust yourself and you're in control of your emotions, and you think you can keep the account for over 30 days, then the answer is pay for the one-off payment. The thing about paying that, it does cost about an extra $55, but you're under no pressure then to make money. So that's an individual question. Do you trust yourself? Do you think you may blow the account within a month? So that's something you've got to look inside yourself there, mate, and answer that one honestly. But yeah, I mean, personally, I prefer the life. But in the early days, I just paid. Well, in fact, when I had my first PA, you couldn't have the one-off payment. That's something they introduced at a later stage. I mean, I've been trading for 3 years. I think I've been with Apex for maybe a little over a year and a half. Makes sense. I might wait until tomorrow and decide. Yeah, you'll know what you like. If you break the rules and you get a bit lucky or you take a few extra risks, it's asking yourself, am I really going to last a month? And if you do last for 30 days, a complete calendar month, and you've got to pay another $85, then you'd save money straight away. So that's a question for you. And a glass of whiskey and drink that and sit down and ask yourself the question: do I trust myself? Up until 2.5-3 months ago, the answer would have been no for me. Although I like to think I would have done, but in the honest answer is no. I wouldn't trust myself. Okay, so this NQ now has done what it was supposed to. Clear triple test, bearish bars. It's okay, I think. It's trapping some longs, and yeah, we had a little bit of a pullback. But the thing is, in hindsight, it clearly worked it down. But obviously, when you're seeing this coming back towards you, you're asking yourself, shit, have I made the right decision? But I think sometimes you've got to trust your trade and then just go with it. And that was a clear triple test. Channel down, clearly 3 attempts, followed by a bearish bar. But it was trapping the longs as well, and it clearly worked. And the same here as well. 1, 2, 3. The bar wasn't as good, I don't think, but it still did the same. You trade with a stop loss, and I do not tilt no matter what. Well, that's a good thing, mate. I think I will go lifetime. Good on you, mate. That's what I mean. Only you know. I didn't trust myself, but if you don't go on tilt, then that's the issue. 1, you need to learn enough skills, and 2, it's great when you're making money. You feel on top of the world. You feel like you've cracked it, and then you get a loss or two, and then you start to get those sort of doubts and those sort of feelings of imminent doom approaching. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. It's all right, my daughter suffers bad with anxiety and she gets palpitations which scare the hell out of her, so she's flapping a good one. How long have I been going for? Coming up 3 hours. Okay, I'm going to knock on the head there, folks, actually. There was a possible setup there. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? But tough day again, another really choppy day. So I'm going to leave it there. So if you count on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup. Failing that, have a great evening, stay safe, and I will be back same time tomorrow, Thursday. Remember, the 90% off finishes midnight tomorrow. But if you get one of the 250k ones, you can pass it up until the 15th of June and still get the same lifetime rate at $85. So just keep that in mind. So have a great day. I'll be back same time tomorrow. Have a great evening and I'll be back. Bye for now.